Today is this thing, but
What thing?
the translational research in health.
RG.
It's doesn't nobody knows what is it actually.
Okay, so the
I control it. Okay, bro.
start sekarang kan?
Ya,
Straight away, or you want to give 5 minutes?
boleh juga. Bro, boleh cakap lah dengan 5 minutes.
Good afternoon and salam sejahtera. Perhaps you can give another few minutes just to enable others to join. So this is going to be a very short briefing, or rather I can say it's a very brief briefing. I've extracted some important points from the guidelines that was provided to you when the announcement was blasted yesterday. Okay, just bear with me, give me a few minutes, and so that more participants can join in this short briefing session.
Sekejap. Dapat dengar ke? Dapat. Ada orang respon.
use that to click or you will be clicking? This one.
Dia masuk koala dia nampak. Tak.
Okay, let's just give 1 or 2 minutes more, then I'll start the briefing. Okay, good afternoon and salam sejahtera everyone. Today I'm going to give a short briefing on Translational Research Program 2023 in Health Sciences, awarded by the Ministry of Higher Education. So I'm Umarani Kupusami from the University of Malaya. Okay, why is it not moving? Sorry about the technical glitch. All right. Can I share from this? Okay.
I take control already.
All right, next slide. I think there's some glitch with the internet.
Yeah, because operator is changed already.
All right, so why is it? Can I change from here? Share from my.
Can.
Okay, just give me a few minutes. Let me start with another share from the other CPU. Maybe we can. Can you see the shared slides?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, this is very slow.
I cannot see. Orang luar dia tak boleh masuk tau. Orang luar. Orang luar tak boleh masuk. Dia tak dapat link tu. Tadi Syahada kata dia masuk spam.
My apologies, there's some technical glitch here. Just bear with me.
You have the cable info? Do you have? You have it and see it.
Boleh muat. Dia kena turun dulu.
Oh, tak masih lah tu.
Okay.
Dia lah dia dah register. Lepas tu link taklimat tu masuk dalam spam. Tu tak tahulah. Orang dalam pun dah dapat masuk kena kat spam.
Okay. It's now I have to log in, is it? This one?
Yes, tak.
What is this now?
Okay, I think you're connected already.
Okay. Okay. All right, you can see my slides now. Okay, good. Okay, really sorry about the delay and the glitch. Anyway, this is what I'm going to talk about, the Translational Research Program 2023 in Health Sciences. This is a grant to be awarded by the Ministry of Higher Education. And okay, my talk or my briefing will revolve around the introduction and also the terms of reference, as well as give you a brief outline of the format and the proposal, how you to prepare the proposal, and also highlight on the important dates. Okay, so basically just to give you some background, on 24th February this year, the budget speech of Prime Minister by the Prime Minister actually indicated that there will be about additional 15 million ringgit that will be awarded to Ministry of Higher Education for translational and research and development. And this is mainly to benefit or for issues, solving issues pertaining to community and industry. Okay, now the following month itself, the Ministry of Finance approved the application by the Ministry of Higher Education. So mainly to implement the Translational Research Program 2023 under the B11 allocation. So this is just a little bit of background as to how the money came about. So we have 50 million ringgit in total, but not just it's distributed. I'll explain to you in a short while. So when you say Translational Research Program 2023, so basically the definition in a nutshell is supposed to be development of programs or projects based on fundamental research that have the potential to be translated for the benefit of government, academia, industry, and the community. All right, so as such, there are some basic points that need to be considered. So which means that the project needs to be based on fundamental research that has produced new knowledge and institutional strength. All right, and also it should involve a network of collaboration between universities and stakeholders. So here the stakeholders will be the target groups, could be specific communities or populations. And also the research should be able to solve governance, changing citizens' mindset, should be useful for human development, development of new business, and also improve rural economy, and also should address community well-being. All right, so there are 4 elements that should be, in fact, the scope comprises 4 important elements. Okay, first of all is supporting small and medium-sized industries focused on business improvement and also efficiency. Second component or element would be being a cooperative or consortium that supports the community and focuses on economic benefits and also social well-being. And also it involves government agencies and academia that include development, planning or strategic planning. Strategic plans, and it must be multi or interdisciplinary in nature. Right, so as such, the objective revolves around the 3 points here. First is to produce comprehensive solutions to the country's current issues through social innovation. So there's a lot of emphasis on the social innovation, and or you can say impact on social aspects. And produce products or outcomes that can be translated and provide benefits to the industry and community. And the third point is help improve the socio-economic status and well-being of the community. Okay, so these are 3 important objectives that the individual projects should map to. And of course, the government has, the Ministry of Higher Education has identified 8 focus areas. So the first is the health science. Then we have all the others here, stated here. Keterjaminan Makanan, Teknologi Watan, TVAT Termaju, Kesejahteraan Sosial, Malaysia Madani, Kelestarian Wilayah, and also Kelestarian Tenaga. So the ministry has also appointed lead universities, means the universities that's going to lead these projects. So there are 8 universities involved, and for SAINS Kesihatan or the health science focus area, Universiti Malaya is supposed to lead this program. And for the others, you have all the other universities stated here. So which means that the 50 million ringgit allocation will be distributed. So it's not, in fact, there's nothing to say that it's going to be equally distributed. So we are not really very clear about how much exactly we're going to get, because we may get more than the 6.25 million or less, depending on what the ministry has decided on. Okay, depending on the type of program as well. Okay, now the program theme led by our University Malaya is improving the health and well-being of the Malaysian population. So it's a very broad theme, which is in line with the focus area stipulated by the ministry. Okay, now let me just briefly go through the terms of reference. Okay, so there'll be, in fact, the ministry had announced that it can be anywhere between 3 to 6 projects, but over here in University Malaya, the sort of caretakers of the health science program, or other focus area, decided to give 6 projects. Okay, 3 of the projects will be led by meaning the PI will be from and another 3 projects will be led by institutional partners of So in other words, the PI is from another university, but there will be a partner or collaborator from University Malaya. All right, so the PI for the 3 projects here will be having partners from, or other PIs from other universities. All right, and one important point to note, the PI must be a Malaysian citizen. Okay, and projects can be based on different fundamental research. In other words, among these 6 projects, it can be based on different fundamental research, but they all must meet the objectives and aspirations of the program. In other words, the focus area that I mentioned just now. and it must be in line with the theme that we have stipulated here. Okay, and the output and outcome must support social innovation. So if your project doesn't clearly show how it supports or it would support social innovation, then the ministry might not really accept the proposal, or they might just reject it. All right, so so the maximum duration.
Can you elaborate?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Can I ask you to elaborate on social innovation now instead of wait until the end? Perhaps it's more interesting to hear your explanation on what exactly how they are going to look at or measure social innovation. Thank you.
So basically, it's a fancy term, so support social innovation. So when they say social innovation, it's more on from the context of the health, what do you call, health science. And when you say health and well-being, it's more on the impact on the society, improving their what do you call, maybe the health and well-being. Okay, so or maybe even like helping them with some small industries, which is related to like also their health and well-being. Okay, so that's how we understand. There are some examples given, but from the agricultural point of view. So remember there's some attachments given when we blasted the call for applications of the grant. So you can see in that guideline there are also some examples, but unfortunately those were more focused on agricultural aspects. So this is, in fact, I would say it's more on the impact on the society. Okay, improvements. So whatever it is, developments, improvements. So that's what they mean by that innovation here.
Sorry,
can answer your question?
Clarify again. Does it means like is at the individual or health conditions, disease level, or more like sounds like a community level kind of innovation?
It's more the emphasis is more on the community level.
The community then is, you know, speaking from our medical specialty, then we thought of public health, community health rather than other clinical disciplines. I hope I'm wrong.
So whatever, it could have started off with individual certain specific disciplines, maybe cancer and so on, but ultimately how you want to apply to the community, how the community is going to benefit and improve, you know, whatever that is in existence. So there must be some improvement and a better impact. So that's what I understand from the briefing that I listened to on Monday at the ministry. So I think we can elaborate and discuss this further later on.
Sure, thank you.
And perhaps if my explanation is not clear enough, I have a team and we can post the explanation later, you know, in the chat.
Thank you.
Okay, so sorry about that. Let me proceed on. Okay, now the maximum duration of the project is about 3 years. It's 3 years, not about, it's just 3 years. And the funding allocation for each project is between 700,000 RM, 700,000 to 1 million. Okay. So now when you talk about the research results, basically we want to look at the output as well as outcome. So the output can be more like measurable parameters like the technical reports, publications, network cooperation, and human capital development, and so on. These are components that you will often see in the other grant applications like the FRGS and so on. And then the outcome would be more on related to impact per se. So it will be more on the explanation or evidence regarding attitude change, economic improvement, construction capacity or change of formulations of policies, strategies, guidelines, quality improvement, skills, empowerment, you know, those kind of things which will in the long term will have a great impact on the society. Okay, so that's important. The output and outcome should be clearly explained in the proposal. I will also go through the format of the proposal. So you notice that these are very, very important components. Okay, now The evaluation of proposals would be done at two levels. First would be when you submit your application. First level would be at UM panel, and this UM panel evaluators will actually shortlist the applications, and finally we'll submit it to the JPT panel, and they will come up with the final decision. Okay, so once the decision has been made, then of course we will announce who are the successful recipients of the grant. Okay, now the monitoring will be done once, let's say you are successful to receive with this grant application. Then of course the monitoring will be done mainly by the UM. So for this health science, this particular program will be led by Universiti Malaya, and JPT will also, the ministry will also be monitoring, but mainly we will do it. The University Malaya would actually handle the monitoring first. So you have what you call the scheduled monitoring and also the unscheduled monitoring. The scheduled monitoring will be done by the university. Okay, in this case, since UM is a lead university, so we will be, University Malaya will be handling the monitoring. So both in terms of the performance and financial monitoring every 12 months. Okay, and this will commence from the start date of the project. All right, now as for the unscheduled monitoring, so anytime in the 3 years, there will be like site visits, audits, or even call for presentations. And based on the findings, there may be a requirement for re-reporting, and also this will be based on the recommendations and requirements according to whatever conditions that has been set by the ministry, the JPT, Jabatan Pendidikan Tinggi. Okay, and of course, once you've done the 3 years is up, the lead university must submit a final report. So in this case, our UM will be handling all the 6 projects. So this final report should include a summary and synthesis of the entire program, which includes all the 6 projects, at least 3 months after receiving the project feedback from the individual project recipients. Okay, am I clear so far? Okay, now, so next will be the financial regulations. So these are the votes. So you have a vote 11000 for GRA or RA, travel and transportation, rental, consumables and research materials, maintenance, specialized services. So here under the specialized services, you can actually use some money for short-term courses not exceeding 3 months, but the amount used should not exceed 5% of the grant that you have acquired. And as for accessories and equipment, the amount should not exceed 40% of your grant. And as for the rest, please refer to the guidelines on financial regulations that has been, I think, sent as an attachment when we sent a call for proposals. And please take note that the grant allocation cannot be used for management and administration. Okay, now here is the most important part, or very crucial part, which is the proposal template or format. The format we have requested, in fact, the ministry announced that it should be in Malay. The proposal should be submitted in Malay, but we have requested and they agreed that for health science, it can be in English. And the font size should be Arial 12 and the spacing 1.5. So please abide by this format. And project title should be based on fundamental projects that have been carried out previously, and they must meet the focus area and the objectives of the overall program. And of course, objectives, you must stipulate the objectives and rationale very clearly. So again, these project objectives must meet and align with the program objectives. Then next, you must provide the explanation of the social innovation component very clearly. So in other words, you must state clearly whether the knowledge, is it knowledge innovation or technology translated into social innovation. All right, and the source of the group's basic research, it should be supported by several impactful publications. So if you have you don't have any publication to support this, then your application might be considered a little weak. Okay, you must provide an executive summary, which is about 150 words, containing introduction, objective or goal, program approach, and also the target group, as well as the expected results. So all in a very concise write-up here. Then you must indicate the members of the research group. So it should involve at least 3 institutes of higher learning, means 3 IPTs, that have strengths, expertise, and have conducted research collaborations. All right, so it must be appropriate expertise, not just simply throwing in names for the sake of having the collaborators, but it must be well and justified what is the contribution and so on by the individual collaborators from the other institutions. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, the PI must be a Malaysian citizen. And as for partners and form of networking, it must be also stipulated here. Involve facilitating, could be industry or corporation, and also research institutional partners. And this can be encouraged through MOU and MOA. They didn't stipulate that it is compulsory, but I think it will strengthen your application if you have an MOU and MOA. Okay, now what are the benefiting target group? It could be small and medium industries, could be government agencies, could be cooperatives, and also could be local communities, or maybe it might involve all. Okay, so now as for the project approach and research methods, you must explain how you're going to manage the project and also the methodology of the project itself. Okay, so this is more like a translating, it's more like a pragmatic project. In other words, you're applying and you're translating directly to the community. Okay, it's not like exploration and things like that. All right, now, as for financial contribution or support, it can be cash or in kind from external parties. So in other words, you have additional funding or support from other parties. It could be cash or in kind. And you're actually encouraged to seek and increase this through endowment of individual and industry contributions. In other words, you're applying for this grant, but in addition to that, you can actually get certain contributions, financial or in kind, from other external sources to support this project. And as for output, I've already mentioned this clearly, and of course, an outcome. It's more on the impact. All right. And as for budget, I've already indicated it is roughly around 700,000 to 1 million. We are not able to set a very clear-cut single cap because we are yet to know the exact amount that each university will receive. So we hope that health science will receive a bit more. So if we have more, then of course we can increase, the ceiling. All right. So we are.
May I ask? In the previous slides, when it says 3 other IPTAs should be in, is that referring to the program, or is it per project there must be 3 other IPTAs?
Okay, so the stance that we have taken, or rather the health science under UM, is that we are going to have like different projects, 6 different projects. So each project must have the 3 collaborations, 3 collaborators from other universities.
I understand. So each project must have 3 other IPTAs.
Yes.
Must consist of 3 IPTAs.
Three,
okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, 3, comprise 3. So including the PI, the IPT where the PI is, and I believe 2 others. So that's total of 3. And of course, you're encouraged to involve the industry and agencies and so on, in addition to that. That's what I understand from the briefing given at the ministry, yeah.
Let's say from other IPT, must it include one from UM?
Yes, because they said that the institutional, they say partner, must be from the university, which is the lead university. But I suppose if you feel that there's absolutely no contribution from here, you can still apply and we'll evaluate, you know, and if it's really a very good project, we'll consider, because it's also very important that you don't simply select a collaborator for the sake of having a collaborator from the institution. It must be, the contribution must be there. So if you have a really very good project, and you know, you can't find a collaborator from but you have others, you have identified others, please don't hesitate. You still submit. We'll consider and see if it's really need be. I mean, I suppose it's still worth pursuing. Okay, we'll still consider.
Prof,
Our decision is by the ministry. Yeah.
Prof, I have a question here. I'm Kalibani from UKM.
Okay.
Okay, we have a translational, we have a project on transitional, and also is the for community intervention, and we're already at the TRL 7, which is like pre-commercialization. It means it's ready to be translated. And this is started with an LRGS project back in 2012. So all these 14 years we've been continuously working, and it's from different grants. And we do not have a collaborator from in this, but we have Ministry of Health and UKM and UIA.
Okay.
All right, but we are fine. We are definitely ready to have a new collaborator who can contribute. In that case, and I think the time given is short. Very, very short. 16, right?
Yeah, I understand. It would have been even shorter because initial deadline was end of this month for the submission to ministry.
Okay.
So we negotiated and appealed, and finally, during the briefing itself, we did appeal, and finally, grudgingly, they agreed to extend the deadline to 12th, the absolute deadline for our submission to the Ministry of Education, to 12th of August.
Okay.
That's the absolute deadline. That's why we, in fact, we immediately started working on blasting and announcing to the whole Malaysia about this grant the following day itself. So that's why today is the second day, and we are having the briefing just in case, you know, I need some clarification. I should admit that we won't be able to answer all the questions, because even this morning we were getting some updates from the ministry in terms of the guidelines and so on. So so moving on. So
thank you.
I know we are here. You're welcome. So we are here on the 14th. Today is the 14th of July, and here you are with me to listen to my briefing. And of course, the grant announcement was blasted on the 11th. And of course, from the response for the number of participants here, I can see that I think the message did trickle to you all. And of course, the submission of concept paper, you only have like about 2 days until Sunday, which is 16th July. And of course, the submission of full proposal is on the 30th of July. So you have until the end of the month, barely 2 weeks. Okay, so once you have submitted the concept paper, so we will actually send you the form. In other words, with the template in a specific format, so that you can easily fill up the form, just like what you have for your FRGS, TRGS, and so on. So only to those who have submitted the concept paper would we send the forms. Okay, so that you can fill it up. And you are expected to submit the full proposal by 30th of July. And the panel of evaluators will start the evaluation process from the 1st August. And we need that about 10 days. So 1st to 10th of August. So in between, starting from any time between the 1st of August to 4th of August, we will be inviting the applicants to pitch their proposal. So it's about 3 to 5 minutes. So this will be at You will be notified. And so my suggestion is, when you are preparing your proposal, So just get ready with your pitching. If you need a slide, then get ready with your slides for pitching as well. Yeah, it's about 3 to 5 minutes pitching. All right, so then, of course, the panel evaluators will maybe give suggestions or for improvement, or maybe adjusting of the budget or something like that. And you will be given that few days to revise your proposal and submit the final revised proposal by the 10th of August. And of course, in turn will submit to the Ministry or KPT by 11th, somewhere between 11th or 12th. The absolute deadline is 12th of August. Okay, is that clear? I know the timeline is very short. It was, it's good news that we get the money, but at the same time, it's like, it's immediately go. You have to immediately start working on it. So given a choice, of course, we'll have a longer time, but we have no choice. Yeah, sorry, that's the question.
Hi, Prof. It's Jamie from May I ask, Prof, regarding the full proposal, right? Is the format, that means the component, the requirements of the full proposal, is it an expanded version of the concept paper or totally a different format?
The concept paper is just giving a gist of the overall project, so which has the introduction. If you notice some of the components, when I showed you the template earlier, okay, so you have all these. Okay, right? So, but you are not going to cover every single thing in detail in your concept paper, but you will have the title, the rationale, those kind of things. So, and there's only so much you can write in that 150 words. All right. So the key points here would be you give a very brief introduction, means something like a problem statement or something, and then your whole program approach, and also what you expect to achieve out of this, or what the impact is going to be. So something like that. So then, of course, the actual detailed proposal will elaborate all this with having all these components stipulated. Okay, so if you're submitted the concept paper, we'll send you the form. In fact, our staff are right now preparing the some sort of a form, so that it's easy for you to it'll be standardized as well for you to fill up the different aspects that we need you to elaborate.
The concept paper.
The concept paper.
Prof? Concept paper is online.
Okay, the concept paper is supposed to be online. Yeah. Okay, and meanwhile, the proposal you'll be sending us by email. In words, yeah.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Will the concept paper be screened?
Yes, we will also have a look at the concept paper. If it's totally out of context, then I think we'll not expect you to elaborate or submit the proposal. Okay, so not subject to the volume, the number of or how high a response we're going to get, because ultimately there are only 6 projects that's going to be successful, and we'll shortlist the 6 projects, and we'll submit, and hopefully the ministry will approve all that we have shortlisted.
So this means once we submit the concept paper, we will wait to hear whether we will be invited to submit the full proposal.
Yes. Yes, we won't take too long. Maybe the following day itself, we'll send the forms so that you can start working on the full proposal. Meanwhile, that's why I've given the components that's going to be covered. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So you can start preparing this, but once you receive the form, then you can copy paste it into the form. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Are there any more questions? I believe you can post your questions here. Continue to post your questions, and we will address the questions as soon as we can, even after the session is over. Right? We will continue to address the questions. So what I've done here for the briefing is sort of condense whatever was stipulated in the guidelines in Malay, and I've just highlighted the main points. So I know many of you would not have the time to read the whole instruction, the entire document. So I've extracted and I've translated some parts and put it in English. So you can start working on your proposal in English. Are there any more questions?
Prof,
Yeah.
do you have any specific theme for the grant application? Whether aging, infectious disease?
It can be anything. That's why it's overall health. You can stipulate or highlight your what do you call the stakeholder, the community that you're targeting. It could be elderly, could be drug addicts, could be any population.
Pening aku lah 4 jam tu lah 6.
Memang pening.
Thank you, Prof.
Hi, Prof. Can I ask another question?
Sure.
Yeah. Can you elaborate what is this facilitating agency? What do they actually do? If you go back to your previous slides, the network partners.
Here is it? Network partners.
Yes. Yes.
Involve a facilitating agency. It could be an industry or corporation. And it could be the certain government agency or some other private agency or maybe a society, that helps to support. So any agency, it could be an industry or could be just a corporation or some organization. Okay, so they can facilitate and join in with the whatever project that you have.
Okay, so it could be the company.
Yes, can be.
How about NGO?
I think they didn't say it cannot. I believe yes, because it's a very general. It can be an NGO also.
Okay, thank you.
Can, isn't it? Okay, yeah.
Can I ask for an explanation on this? A source of the group's basic research is supported by several impactful publications. What does that actually means? Does it refer to impact factor?
No, impactful can be very loosely placed. It doesn't mean that you have to have journals with the impact factor of 15, 20 or so. It's more like an important, because different areas, different fields, you may have journals with a ceiling to its impact, right? So some might be a very specialized niche area where the impact factor might not show very high value, right? So it's not that. It's as long as means peer-reviewed ISI publication, so that I think even some in some aspects, even Scopus is fine. In other words, you show that your previous work has basically to improve the credentials of your previous work, to show that you have actually done some work, and the proof is you have published some papers.
Understand,
okay, so,
thank you.
Yeah. So in terms of how high an impact, I think that is subjective. Yeah, what is the question?
Yes, I have sent my concept paper online yesterday.
Oh,
because I know that I have to submit. The deadline is July.
Okay, so in fact, the concept papers, if submitted on Sunday, so by Monday, latest by Tuesday, we'll try to get back to you. Okay, because we will be to go through the concept papers on Monday, and if not by Monday evening, then by Tuesday we'll try to get back to you. So when you receive the response with the form, then you know that you are to submit the full proposal.
Prof?
Yes?
For the concept paper, do we need to submit a letter of intent from the industry to support us?
It will strengthen your application anyway. So concept paper, if you can't get it yet, you can put a note there that you are in the process of getting your the intent, letter of intent or MOU or MOA from your industrial partner. So otherwise, because by the time you submit the full proposal, you must have evidence of those. If you have either letter of intent, MOU, MOA, because that will strengthen your application. But as for concept paper level, maybe you can just put a note if you are going to actually get MOU or MOA. So, okay, so we will still consider.
Thank you.
Umarani, Prof. Umarani, I'm Devinda from UKM.
Yes.
I saw the concept paper or the form online. It's very brief. And even for budget, it's just requires how much you need. Do we need to add more details in it, or is there any limit to how much can we include in the form?
It is meant to be very brief. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
It's just concept paper is just brief so that within 1-2 minutes when you read, you roughly know what the whole project is about. So that's the whole idea, because we do expect that there will be a flood of applications. So we will have to screen through, and we only have like something like 1 day to screen. And so when you prepare your concept paper, highlight it in such a way that the social innovation aspect is there. That means you are going to address that aspect and how it can actually cover the elements that I mentioned earlier, the scope and how it relates to this. So that's what will be the convincing part
Thank you
for the successful selection of your project. Yeah.
Okay, understand. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi, Prof.
Prof.
Can you hear me? Prof, this is Rasita from UITM.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Rasita.
Okay, so I want to ask Prof. So when we want to submit the concept paper, right? We have identified the UN partner, but the UN partner do not have to submit their projects. Is it like that? So just me or two sides?
Yes, you are the PI. You have identified the collaborators from UM and maybe another university, and also maybe you have an agency or some industrial partner.
Yes.
And you are the one who is going to submit.
Okay, Prof. And regarding the MOA, right? Like in the form, there's no way that I can attach. So I just put a note there lah.
Maybe you can.
Is that so?
Yeah. Yes. For the concept
We
paper.
can't attach anything. Even pictures, we can't put it.
For concept paper, maybe you can attach it as a separate file.
There's no way that we can attach. No
Okay, so you're not expected. Just a moment, I'll ask the staff. Are we going to just a write-up? Okay. All right. So according to our staff, it's just supposed to be a write-up. When it comes to concept paper, it's just a simple write-up. So we don't expect any pictures or anything.
Okay, Prof.
So don't upload anything. Just fill up the form. That space that's given for you to write up.
Prof, does the collaborators need to be all from government universities?
Not necessary. It doesn't have to be from public universities. It can be private universities as well.
Right. Can it include overseas universities?
Sorry, come again?
Does the 3 institute can include overseas institutes?
Because
I would think no.
The IPT, I think the overseas institution can be in addition to what you have. The encouragement is for you to collaborate within Malaysia. So it can be private or public. This is like some of the like when we had Q&A session at the ministry when they were giving the briefing. That's what they mentioned. They want to encourage like the other universities within Malaysia, like maybe the younger universities, and those even about some private universities, so you can collaborate with them. So if you have any overseas partners, we are not discouraging. You can always include, because they said at least 3, so you can have more than 3 actually.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Prof. Uma?
Yes.
Prof, for us who actually joined a bit late, is it possible to share your slides later?
Yes, I think this will be recorded, right? This is recorded and will be uploaded later. Sure. And just to highlight, I was just notified that the deadline is 11th, but anyway, for the applicants, the deadline is 10th of August. So UM will consolidate whatever projects that we have, and final submission will be on the 11th. It's not 12th. So the KPT needs to receive all the applications before 12th. So when I say 11 to 12, it's actually by 11th we are supposed to submit.
Prof. Uma?
Yes?
Imra here from Computer Science Prof.
Yes.
I've got a few questions.
Okay.
Okay, you said that our proposal is supposed to be based on a fundamental project.
Yeah.
This fundamental project needs to be directly related to the PI, or could it be something that was done by the team members?
I think it can be from the team members, because PI can be appointed along the way, but you know, it could be like a project that has been ongoing for quite some time, and then maybe along the way the PI has to change. Maybe the previous PI had retired, or you know, has left the university or something like that. So I think that shouldn't matter, as long as it's part of the team's work. I think it's okay.
Okay. My second question is, if you can just go to your slide where you have all the 4 scopes.
The scopes, huh?
Yes.
This one?
Yes. Okay. We need to fulfill all the 4 scopes. Now, the first scope is supporting SMEs focused on business improvement and efficiency. Health science project, let's say most of the time we are coming up with a product to improve the well-being of community. How does this translate, or how are we supposed to fulfill the first scope?
Okay, so this is also a question that we have been asking, but this is something that they say they need. Ministry did reply, and they said they need to have all 4 components. So I believe maybe if not directly, in an indirect manner, if you can justify or explain how indirectly it can help, I suppose it will be still acceptable. Because I know for health science it's very difficult. If it's agriculture, or you know, it might be okay, or it's like some other purely societal kind of projects, yes, but this one is like the theme is still health. So I suppose if not directly, maybe indirectly, if it is supporting.
Okay, so because this doesn't mean that we need to have an SME as part of our collaborator, but the impact should be on SMEs. All right, okay.
The impact should still be there, yeah. And overall, ultimately, when we submit, although we have invited from respective or individual independent projects, but when we UM submits it to the overall, you know, when the even the final report and so on, we have to synthesize. So overall, they want to see that the health science program has covered all the 4 elements indicated as the scope of the program. So maybe some projects might be very strong and 2, 3, and 4, maybe not so strong on the 1. And maybe some of the projects might be very strong on 1, 2, 3, but not, 1, 2, 4, but not so strong on the 3. You know, there may be some with more emphasis on a certain one of the elements or 2 of the elements. But overall, it should still show that our overall program has covered the entire scope. And each project, you must address all the 4 scopes. I mean, the 4 elements under the what is considered as a scope. But maybe you have more emphasis on some of it, maybe a lighter emphasis on the other element.
Okay.
I think the element 4 is something that is necessary, absolutely necessary with the, you know, it should be interdisciplinary in nature and so on.
Okay, no, but one more question, but it's quite a general question and got nothing to do with health science. We can be PI for other domain from other university, correct?
Yes, You see the 8 universities, so out of that, so UM is one, and you still have the other 7, right? So like there's one university leading the food security focus area. So you can, in fact, they should by right have opened up this call for proposals.
No, I'm assuming the deadlines are the same for all the universities, but so far we have not received any invite for briefing or anything from other universities. So how do we go about this?
Okay, it's difficult to answer because different universities, they've taken up different stance. In our case, UM has taken a stance to be very open because the ministry during the briefing, they said that it must be open invitation. But some universities probably they have identified already the projects that they want to push through and they have not really opened up. Maybe they have contacted individually or something like that. So so I can't speak for other universities. I'm just assuming or speculating. So it's not, I'm not sure. Or maybe who knows, in 1-2 days you might see the call for proposals.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
For health science, we need more time, and as it is, it's very, very short time given to the researchers to prepare the proposals. So that's why we immediately started working on and blasted the call for proposal, application of the proposals. Yeah. Are there any more questions?
Hi, Prof.
Yes, hi.
Yeah. May I ask about the language? Is it the language under this topics? Like if I want to like make a Mandarin, medical Mandarin, something like that, is it under this topic?
Medical Mandarin.
Yes.
I don't quite understand.
Somehow like we are going to like make a course about the medical Mandarin, so I'm not so sure about this topic, whether it's under fit in this scope or not.
I'm not sure. Perhaps you can, if you have an idea, submit the concept paper, then the team, the panel here will take a look and decide on it.
Okay.
Because I can't answer. I am not quite sure about what you mean by medical Mandarin.
Yeah, it's like a Mandarin language, but it's all related to the medical terms, something like that.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, I'll just try to submit the concept paper then. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, are there any more questions? Yes.
I have one question regarding the budget allocation. It's mentioned there about the minimum is 700,000 up to 1 million, isn't it?
Yes.
So is that mean that the minimum that we can put into our application is 700,000? Is that what it actually mean?
Well, it's just a rough, what do you call, estimate. It can be anywhere between 700 to 1 million. But if you think your project needs much less, let's say 500,000 only, so by all means put it in as such. It might be a very good project that only needs 500,000. So why not? We won't penalize just because you put less than what you've indicated here. It's just that you can't put more than the cap that you have set for now. Yeah.
Is there a minimum or maximum number of RO or RA?
No, it's not indicated. As long as your budget, whatever budget that you've allocated for each category, each vote, you can well and justify. If you need 2 RO or RA, you have to like clearly justify why you need that number.
So for the submission, is it considered a project? And then the one that UM combined, the 6, is considered a program?
Yes, this is like overall program, but under this you have the projects. As long as you align with the theme that we have set and also the objectives, so then it should be acceptable. Yeah.
Thank you.
Arini here from UKM.
Prof,
Yes.
the project, when we apply the project, we need to have a collaborators, but the format is not like similar to TRGS or LRGS where you have to have independent project from the collaborator, right?
Yeah.
So it's one project, but with the
Yes.
collaborators.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Are there any more questions?
You want to answer the question in the chat?
So, are there any questions on the chat?
Yes, there's a few actually.
Okay, so I'll address some of the questions.
Prof, before you go, will you share the slides in email or yeah, in which form, please?
It's a slide.
Is it the slides or the recording?
The recording is on YouTube.
If possible, the slides, but you have the recording, better still.
I think the slide is actually from the guideline that we shared.
Okay, so this, no, they're asking about today's slides, is it? The ones that I've just shared with you all?
Yes, today's slides.
The slides, let me ask whether it's going to be uploaded. Yeah, they can be uploaded, yeah.
If they fill up the feedback form, we can email to them.
Yeah, but it's important that you fill up the feedback form. So those who have filled up the feedback form, I think we can, our staff will email to you. Any more questions?
Prof, regarding the members, group members, of the research, or the research project, the condition.
Sorry, I think you're offline, Jamie. Any other questions?
Prof, you heard me?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't hear you. I think you were offline just now.
Sorry, Prof.
Can you repeat?
I was just, yeah, I want to confirm regarding the members of the research team comprising of 3 different IPTs. Must we really have past research collaboration, or we can initiate new ones from this project?
Of course, it will be stronger if you have past collaborations to show that you've already have an established collaboration. But otherwise, if the project is, you can still submit, we'll consider.
Thank you, Prof.
Prof, I have a question. How about the team member? Is it any maximum number allowed, or there is no limitation of the members?
Whatever is appropriate, if you can justify what is the role of each team member, then it's well and justified to have more, any number that you feel that's appropriate. But we have stipulated the minimum number in terms of the institutional collaboration, but in terms of the individual members, how many you need, it all depends on the requirement of the project. But it must be, you must, what do you call, the collaboration must be appropriate. I mean, there is a appropriate expertise, a contribution. So the usual, when you apply for any grants. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Welcome.
Prof,
Yes.
regarding the output, what is the minimum number for the publication, for the postgrad students? So is it in the guideline?
No, we at the moment we don't have any particular numbers because it depends. The flexibility depends on the type of project, nature of the project, and so on. So we have not stipulated the numbers per se.
Okay, thank you.
Tak perlulah kan. Okay, are there any more questions?
Sorry, maybe we go through the chat here.
Can you I can't see, it's quite small.
Or you can open the chat.
Okay, this one, yeah?
Go to the chat.
Okay, there's one question. Can you give an example of a project that fits into this call? I don't have any examples of such projects that I can share with you right now. I'll ask my colleagues if there is any, and if it's possible to share, then we will do so. Huh? This is Prof. Yopan, Chan Yopan.
Yeah, Irfan here. Yeah, so because I'm just wondering, I don't quite understand, how big should the project be, and if you have 3 institutions, and do they work on different work packages on a big huge problem, or I mean, is it like okay, in UM we have impact oriented IRG grant. Is it going to be something like this, or is it talking about single discipline? Because I mean, or is it like a completely different discipline, or within the medical discipline, virology, molecular biology, I'm not very clear, how should we look at the grant?
Okay, if those from UM, I suppose you can say this is like a little analogous to IIRG, but one step advanced. So in other words, IIRG, you're still at pilot study or at a smaller scale, but in this case, it's more like you're going to do some groundwork as well, more like pragmatic work, pragmatic research. In other words, you're going to the community directly. So some of the IIRG projects might have been more towards the community as well. If your project is something of that kind, then of course you can expand on that for this.
Yeah, so if that's the case, it simply means that, we, for some of us in UM, so that will be our IRG, and then we can actually expand that into the community, and that's probably one of what you're looking at, right?
Yes, I think that will fit in into the requirements here.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Anything else?
We have shared the slides.
Okay, there's
Evening, Prof.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, I'm Leslie from UPM.
Yes.
There is one component in the concept paper form which mentioned about targeted national issue, relevancy to government direction. Yeah. Is there a list of national issue that we can address or that we can refer to, because we don't really have the list, right? Do we?
I think under the RMK 12, okay, the issues addressed there.
Okay, all right. I have not gone through the few documents that were posted in the chat. Do they happen to have them in that few documents?
No, this is not written or stipulated there.
Okay.
So it's assumed that the researcher can do their own search and identify.
Okay. Wow, very tight.
It's just like when you apply for FRGS and so on, you still have to look out for it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Welcome. I think that's about all. Are there any more?
Prof, sorry, it's me again, Leslie from UPM.
Yes.
On the target group, and in one of your slides, it mentioned community. Can a patient within the hospitals considered as community?
You mean one patient or the particular patient suffering from a certain type of condition, you mean?
Yes.
Can be a group of patients with that kind of
condition.
condition.
Can they be considered as defined as a community?
Yes,
because
I suppose it's significant or large enough, then it can be.
Because the normal definition for community are those that are outside, not necessarily within the hospital setting.
It all depends on how you interpret it.
Okay.
Sometimes it can be quite a large population involved.
Okay.
You know, the patient suffering from that particular condition. So
Yeah.
then it is almost like a community by itself. So it depends on what kind of, so that's why you have to submit the concept paper so that we can consider, evaluate.
Sure. Thanks, Prof.
Welcome. Any more questions? I believe you can still post your questions if you have any additional questions, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Okay. So that's all for me.
Yeah,
Yes.
Prof. Umar, Nolita here from UPM.
Yes.
I looked into the concept paper. Number 14 is research background. Research background means that is it the publications from all the researchers? What is it mean?
The concept. Just give me a minute.
Number 14.
Background. So it's actually the background of the project. Not researcher's background, but it's the research background itself. So it means, yeah.
So it's different from the, it's not the problem statement, because we have the problem statement under number 10. That will...
Background meaning something like an introduction. You're introducing.
I see. I see. Okay.
And just giving some fundamentals, some background to your work, to the research that you're proposing.
All right. Thank you.
So, any more questions?
Alternatively, they can also refer to the SDG. They can also refer to SDG.
What is SDG?
Sustainable Development Goals under UN. Number 3.
The question is it? Okay, I think some information has been, or rather the link has been posted or pasted here on the chat. Okay, by our team, so you can refer to it as well. I think one particular one is the 12th Malaysian Plan. Okay, there's a question on any requirement for the PI. Of course, the good track record will be useful. It's important, and must be a Malaysian citizen. Okay, the PI must have a good track record and also must be a Malaysian citizen. Okay, so please refer to some of the links being posted.
some ideas.
Some ideas, to give you some ideas, yeah. Can we submit similar proposal to different programs? I think not encouraged to do that. I think you can't concurrently submit the same or similar proposal to the various programs. And I think that's all so far.
team.
Okay. The team, okay, there's a question by Anida. Can elaborate the direction of the theme? Okay, the theme, basically we made it broad enough so that any kind of projects related to health and well-being and, addresses the community should be able to somehow fit in. Okay, that's why we came up with a very broad theme. So we didn't even specify any particular community or particular population. So it's just broad. So you can actually sort of identify and highlight which particular community was, narrow down the community or population that you want to use as the stakeholder, or rather the target population. Okay, or identify the target population as you think is necessary or appropriate for your project. Okay. Submission, you can send it through email, soft copy. You can send it as an email. Okay, how many graduate students? Postdoc. Okay, so whether you can hire a postdoc or not, I think we'll just refer back to the guidelines. And because the vote says it's RA or GRA. So I think we can find out the details later and confirm this.
Yeah.
Because I can't answer that now, because in the guidelines it says GRA or RE. So postdoc was not indicated, but I think we can find out and get back to you on that.
This one, I think she's confused.
Okay. Okay, this is a question from Noor Azhar. So the concept paper submission, is it for all 6 projects or each of the 6? Each. So there are 6 projects, means is going to handle or rather oversee these 6 projects. So each of the project you have to submit the concept paper.
Yeah.
So in other words, whoever we have invited, or rather the call for application is there. So any number, you just submit your concept paper, and we will then shortlist the 6 that we find that is the most suitable. Okay, so if you have a project, then you submit your concept paper. It's individual. I think when involving community, knowledge transfer, it depends on what context. It still should fit in with the health and well-being aspects, because knowledge can be in whatever manner, it can be related to health and so on. But I think it'd be good if, let's say, you can show that the impact is going to be there in terms of the outcome eventually. So whatever that you have, like here you mentioned knowledge, so as long as it maps to the overall theme, it fits in with the theme or the focus area, and also the objective stipulated, then should be fine. agreement or just the IPT for each project? I think there will be agreement involved, right? So there will be agreement involved on this, okay, about the grant, how it's going to be allocated and so on. No, this, okay, about the allocation amount is for each project. So each of the 6 projects that I mentioned, you know, whoever is applying, you can apply and put in for something like 700,000 to 1 million. So it's for each project. Okay, we understand in terms of the timeline for MOU and MOA. If you already have an existing one, it's good. But if you don't have, if you notice the fine prints and the guidelines, they said you are encouraged to have the MOU and MOA. So maybe you can put a note saying that you're working on it if you've already identified the partners for the MOA, MOU. Yes, a senior lecturer can be the PI, but provided in your team you have people with a good track record as well. The senior lecturer also can have, I mean, ideally, if you have a good track record, publication record or previous involvement, it's fine, but it will be, of course, strengthen your application if you have some maybe experienced members in your team. Okay. Do we need PI outside UM? Okay. You see, for the those from UM, you can put in your project with you as the PI, okay, and identify your team members from other institutions, and also maybe you have a few from your from UM itself. Now, you can be a collaborator in another project led by the other university. Means you are just one of the researchers, but the PI is actually from the other side. That's why we are going to select like 3 where the PI is from outside UM and 3 from UM. The PI is from UM.
Hi, Prof. Uma. Can you hear me? Sorry, Aisha here. I'm sorry I was late. I didn't see the notice about the meeting starting earlier. So I might be repeating something that you already told us. This is about the 6 projects. So do you mean that when we apply or put in the LOI, it would be on 6 project, maximum of 6 projects? 3 of which we have to have a mixture from the other groups?
No, you are only going to submit 1 project. What I explained just now is to show that UM is the lead university for the focus area on health sciences. So we will then be taking care of 6 projects. So in other words, now we are inviting applications from you all. So you will be submitting 1 project only. Okay, whoever is submitting the project application is only 1. So that project should fit in with our team. Okay, and of course, ultimately, we'll only select a total of 6 projects and submit to KPT. Okay, so when you prepare your 1 single project. That 1 project, I don't know if there's a necessity for you to have a sub or how you want to design your project. I think that is up to you, but it will be, as far as we are concerned, when you submit, it's 1 project, it's 1 single title, 1 project, fulfilling all the criteria that you have mentioned earlier.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you.
Hi, Prof.
Hi.
This is Prof. Muzaffar from IIM. I just want to ask whether the international staff can apply as PI?
Huh?
International staff. Local
PI must be Malaysian. You can be one of the researchers. International staff can be one of the researchers, but cannot be the PI.
Okay, thank you.
I think we've answered all the questions here.
Okay.
All right, I think
another one. I think
one more,
two more.
Okay. Which one? This is.
Yeah, this one.
Must it be in English? Yes, the concept paper can be in English. But of course, I think it is in English. We are accepting everything in English. Proposal also must be in English. And okay, the question is, if you modify the proposal to scope it differently and submit to another program but led by similar PI, is that okay? Well, here it's difficult to answer because what if both programs have selected? So I think it will be a conflict of interest in this case. So it's best to decide on one. So if you have something that you package differently with a different title and different emphasis and so on, if you have a different PI, I think that would not be a problem, should not be a problem ideally. But otherwise, I think with the same PI, I think it will be not encouraged. Yes, to our interpretation, yes, because it says that the partner university, so which means that institutional partner can be the PI. So which means that the collaborator that we have invited, so they can lead, but then you must have a partner from UN. So that's how we interpreted that phrase. I think that's all. All right, I think I've answered as best as I can. Wish you all the best. Okay, I know it's very short notice, but I'm sure you can do it. All right, all the best to you. Tutup.